our plans for June. February we were riding out the moon, circling dates in red and making lists of all the places we would not have missed. March we booked the flights, we set the stage. April you weren't quiet on the page. May arrived with something and you changed, and June showed up completely rearranged. We planned so far ahead we never saw the month that quietly became our last of all. The calendar we never finished, all those circles with no centers anymore. The calendar we never finished, dates we dressed in hope then left ignored. July still has your handwriting in blue. August has a note that just says you. September through December, standing blank, a future that ran dry before we drank. The calendar we never finished, still hanging on the wall where we began. The anniversaries we marked in gold, the trips we swore we'd take before we're old, the dinners on the 15th every month, the Sunday morning circled more than once. All those little squares we filled with us, now just empty boxes gathering dust. I can't take it down, I can't fill it in. A calendar that stopped mid-discipline. The coolest thing about a plan is how it trusts the future blind, never asking if the people making it will still be alive. The calendar we never finished, all those circles with no centers anymore. Calendar we never finished, dates we dressed in hope and left ignored. July still has your handwriting in blue. August has a note that just says you. September through December, standing blank, a future that ran dry before we drank. The calendar we never finished, still hanging on the wall where we began. I keep staring at the month we stopped, the last filled square before the bottom dropped. One ordinary Wednesday, nothing grand, just the last day that we had a plan. If I had known that Tuesday was the end, I would have circled it in every pen, written something worthy of a close, instead of just another day we chose. Still hanging, still unfinished, a calendar of everything we meant to be, with all the months ahead still blank, and waiting for a story that moved on without the page. I buried it beneath the backyard oak, the year that everything we built had broke. A shoebox full of ticket stubs and rings, your letters and a few unfinished things. A photograph from that November night, a playlist that I couldn't bear in light. I sealed it up and told myself someday I'd be strong enough to open what I saved. Some pain is too alive to keep inside the chest, so you bury it in boxes and you call it put to rest. Time capsule of tears, sealed up tight with everything from those years. The love, the loss, the letters and the lies, the version of myself before goodbye. Time capsule of tears. across the tree on ordinary days. The ground looks normal, gives nothing away. Nobody knows we're sleeping 3 feet down. A whole relationship beneath the ground. Sometimes after rain, I swear I feel it. The past seeping upward, can't conceal it. The earth shifts quietly above the box, and all those tears come picking at the locks. You can't time capsule feelings, they don't fossilize. They stay as wet as ever underneath the quiet skies. Time capsule of tears, sealed up tight with everything from those years. The love, the loss, the letters and the lies. The version of myself before goodbye. Time capsule of tears, buried deep enough to silence all the fears. But soil doesn't swallow what the heart still keeps. Some things grow louder underneath the leaves. What if I dug it up one afternoon, spread everything beneath the autumn moon, read every letter in the fading light, let every tear complete its interrupted flight. Maybe buried grief needs to be exhumed, aired out and honored before being entombed. Not to relive, but to finally release. Give every buried feeling its own peace. Still buried, still breathing. A time capsule of tears, waiting for the day I'm brave enough to dig up everything I say. Everyone around me moves ahead. I keep returning to the things you said. The world is spinning forward fast and loud, while I'm rewinding underneath the crowd. New days arrive, but I'm still living in the particular Tuesday that began to spin. Progress looks like moving on, they say, but my hands keep turning back the other way. I know the future's waiting at the door, but something in the past still has the floor. Clocks running backward against the current, against the gray. Clocks running backward, returning to the start of all this pain. Everybody's calendars are flipping, mine is stuck on the day you left this place. Clocks running backward, can't seem to find my forward facing face. I memorized the season that we broke, the particular light, the particular smoke, the temperature, the song that played that night, the exact coordinates of losing right. Nostalgia is a clock with broken hands that point to everything that no longer stands. And I keep reading time the backward way, living yesterday inside of today. The dangerous comfort of a moment that is known beats the terrifying openness of walking on alone. Oh no, clocks running backward against the current, against the gray. Clocks running backward, returning to the start of all this pain. Everybody's calendars are flipping, mine is stuck on the day you left this place. Clocks running backward, can't seem to find my forward facing face. What if I just let the clock run down? Stop rewinding, stop the backward sound. What if forward isn't losing what was real, but carrying it differently to heal? The past is not a place that I can live. It's just a story that I have to give permission to be finished, to be done, to let the clock run forward toward the sun. Still ticking, still backward, one hand slowly turning toward the hour. I finally let now begin. We kept saying soon, we kept saying next week. One more deadline, one more mountain peak. The trip to Portugal still on the list. The Sunday mornings that we always miss. Too busy building something for the later. Forgot that now was always something greater. Kept investing in a future we assumed, while the present quietly consumed. We were saving all the best parts for a Sunday that arrived one morning dressed up. It's too late. We didn't have time. We had the intention, but we didn't have time. Traded all our nows for the promise of then. Said we'd do it all, but never said when. Didn't have time, and time didn't wait on the edge of the line. Left us with a drawer full of almost in soon. Two people who loved each other just never had the room. You needed me on the Wednesday in March. I had a meeting, I had a deadline, harsh. You said it's fine, I said I'll make it up. We kept that tab running, never caught up. The last real conversation we had was interrupted, rushed, a little sad. Both half present, both 1 foot out the door. We didn't know that was all we get and more. The saddest thing about the time we didn't spend is that we always thought there'd be more time to spend again. Didn't have time. We had the intention, but we didn't have time. Traded all our now for the promise of then. Said we'd do it all, but never said when. Didn't have time, and time didn't wait on the edge of the line. Left us with a drawer full of almost in soon. Two people who loved each other just never had the room. If I could buy back every interrupted hour, every half embrace, every wilting flower, every dinner eaten looking at a screen, every moment where we weren't fully seen, I spent it all on nothing but right here. No agenda, no tomorrow, just this here, this minute, this breath, this hand in mine. just kept spending it on everything but us. It wasn't the big betrayal that destroyed me, wasn't the scandal or the scene. It was the small ones, quiet ones, the lies that slipped in between. I'm on my way when you hadn't left. I'm fine when you were someone else. I didn't see a call at midnight blue, the little lies that built a stranger out of you. Nobody warns you about the damage small untruths can do, how 100 paper cuts can bleed you just as through. Broken by simple lies, not the thunder, just the alibis, the casual dishonesty of every day that slowly hollowed out the trust we laid. Broken by simple lies, nothing dramatic, nothing that implies a villain or a moment I can name, just small convenient fiction, and I'm never quite the same. And I'm never quite the same. You said you ate, you hadn't touched a thing. You said you're home, I heard the echoing of somewhere loud behind your careful voice. Small deceased disguised as noise. I started fact-checking conversations, reading tone like it held all the nations of a person I no longer recognize, hidden in the ordinary disguise. The worst part isn't catching you, it's what it does to me, turning every simple sentence to a mystery. Broken by simple lies, not the thunder, just the alibis, the casual dishonesty of every day that slowly hollowed out the trust we laid. Broken by simple lies, nothing dramatic, nothing that implies a villain or a moment I can name, just small convenient fiction, and I'm never quite the same. Simple lies are still lies, dressed in smaller clothes. They still walk through the door, they still break what no one knows. You don't need a grand deception to dismantle something real. 1,000 tiny fractures do exactly what they feel, like one enormous break that nobody can heal. Still broken by something small, the simplest lies did the most damage of them all. Quietly, without warning, without walls. The clock on the wall still ticks away, but something in the hours lost its way. The world kept spinning, kept its pace, while mine got stuck in your empty space. Seasons changed outside the window glass. Summer burned and let the autumn pass. Winter came and brought the new year in, but I'm still standing where you've always been. Everyone else moved forward into new. My hands are frozen at the hour I lost you. Time stopped when you left, like someone pulled the batteries from my chest. The minutes keep on moving for the rest, but mine all pulled and settled at your exit. Time stopped when you left. The world outside don't feel like what comes next. Just the same still moment on repeat. The second you walked out and took my heartbeat. Still set the table like you're coming, still wake up reaching. Still my heart is running toward a morning that no longer lives in any version of the day that gives. The coffee's warm, the light is right, everything is normal, nothing's right. The calendar says months have come and gone, but time stopped when you left and won't move on. It's not that I don't try to feel the days go by, it's that every hour empty just reminds me why. Time stops when you left, like someone pulled the batteries from my chest. The minutes keep on moving for the rest, but mine all pulled and settled at your exit. Time stopped when you left. The world outside don't feel like what comes next. Just the same still moment on repeat. The second you walked out and took my heartbeat. They say that time heals everything in stride, but time can heal when time itself has died. Inside the room where you once used to be, time became a photograph of we. Maybe someday the clock begins again. Maybe someday now stops feeling then. Maybe time restarts on some remarkable day when I finally learn to let the hours play. Still frozen, still waiting for the moment time remembers how to move without you. We said forever like it had no fine print, carved it into every moment, every instinct. Infinity tattooed across our plans, written in the creases of our hands. No expiration date, no end in sight, just always and forever every night. But forever has a shelf life no one tells you, and infinity runs out before it fails you. We didn't read the label, didn't check the date, found out that I always had an expiration state. Expired infinity, the forever that we swore turned out to have a fee. The unlimited we promised hit a wall. Expired this vow. But even our infinity has an expiration now. Remember all the necklaces and rings engraved with all our everlasting things. The dates we marked as permanent in stone. The future tense we claimed as fully our own. Infinite playlist, infinite trust, infinite turn, finite like it always does. The timestamp on our always finally showed an expiration neither of us know. The cruelest thing about forever is it sounds so absolute until the day you're holding an expired substitute. Expired infinity, the forever that we swore turned out to have a fee. The unlimited we promised hit a wall. Expired infinity, the biggest word in love's vocabulary, turned out to be the shortest one of all. We meant it when we said it, every endless vow. But even our infinity has an expiration now. Maybe infinity was never meant for humans. Maybe always is a word that overreaches. Maybe love that ends was still a real infinity, just measured in its moments, not its years. A million seconds of completely meaning is more than empty forevers built on fear. So maybe ours expired, but it was real. The truest kind of infinite to feel, still infinite, just expired. A forever that was real while it lasted, and that's enough to have been everything. No matter what I say, I've read our story 1,000 times, searching for a different final line, replaying every scene inside my head, changing all the words we left unsaid. What if I stayed a little longer there? What if I said it when I didn't dare? What if the ending wasn't meant to be the only version of our history? The mind's a pen that never stops its writing, editing a past that keeps on fighting back to life, rewriting the ending, like I have the power over what is done. Rewriting the ending, giving us a chapter where we actually won, crossing out the goodbyes, replacing them with stays. Rewriting the ending every single day, but the page stays the same. No matter what I say, director's cut inside my head at night, where everything we broke turns out alright. You walk back through the door in scene 14, and all the in-between gets soft and clean. But morning comes and brings the published truth, the version with no edits, no redo. The story ended how the story ends, and I keep writing drafts that never send. There's a grief that lives inside the what if and the could, the space between what happened and what I wish it was. Rewriting the ending, like I have the power over what is done. Rewriting the ending, giving us a chapter where we actually won. Crossing out the goodbyes, replacing the mistakes. Rewriting the ending every single day, but the page stays the same, no matter what I say. Maybe the ending doesn't need a fix. Maybe it was written in the mix of everything we were and couldn't be. A necessary last page setting free. What if acceptance is the final draft? A version where I stop looking back, not rewriting what already happened through, but writing something new without you. Still writing, still crossing out until the pen runs dry. And I finally learned that some endings are exactly how they had to end. I had the whole day to make it right, but I waited till the edge of night. Watched the hours pass like I had more. Never reached for what I was reaching for. Could've called it noon, could've said it then, but I dressed the delay up as discipline. Told myself the timing had to be right. Now it's 11:59. The window's closing and I finally see everything I should have done when I still had the key. The 11th I regret showing up too late to the things I won't forget. All the chances sitting ripe in afternoon, I left them on the vine and now the night is noon. The 11th I regret, the coolest kind of sorry, soaking wet when the clock runs out on everything you meant to say. 11th hour regret is the price of yesterday. Is the price of yesterday. Should've said I love you on an ordinary day, not when leaving made it feel that way. Should've fixed it when the crack was small, not when I was staring at the wall. Should've stayed when staying still was free. Now and going cost everything from me. Regret is just the echo of too late, a haunting that arrives right at the gate. The saddest words were never lost or end or gone. They were I should have, could have, would have all along. The 11th hour regret showing up too late to the things I won't forget. All the chances sitting ripe in afternoon, I left them on the vine and now the night is noon. The 11th hour regret, the cruelest kind of sorry, soaking wet when the clock runs out on everything I meant to say. 11th hour regret is the price of yesterday. So I'm writing this as a warning, not as eulogy or mourn. Do it in the daylight, don't wait until it's warm. Say the thing at breakfast, not at the final door. Love them in the middle, not when there's no more. The 11th hour teaches what the morning never could. Act while while you still have the light. Do it while you should still regret it. Still learning. The time to love was always now, not 11:59, not at the end, but now. Carried it all so you wouldn't have to. Showed up strong when everything fell through. Lifted every weight without a word. Swallowed every cry you never heard. Moved the mountains, held the crumbling walls. Caught the pieces every time it falls. Nobody asked, but I was always there, doing yesterday's heavy lifting everywhere. The strongest ones don't get to fall apart on time. They carry it in silence, and they call it being fine. Yesterday's heavy lifting, still living in my shoulders and my spine. All the weight I hold for other people, finally catching up with mine. Yesterday's heavy lifting, the unpaid labor of a caring mind. I gave so much of me to hold in others. I forgot to save a little for behind. Yesterday's heavy lifting, Lord, it weighs a ton in overtime. The text at midnight, I was always up. The broken ones who needed filling up. I pour myself like water, open wide. Never once admitted what was dried inside. Strong friend syndrome running through my veins, smiling through my own unspoken pains. Iron on the outside, dust within. Yesterday's heavy lifting, wearing thin. One day the strong needs a hand to hold. One day the lifter needs someone to share the load. Yesterday's heavy lifting, still living in my shoulders and my spine. All the way I want for other people, finally catching up with mine. Yesterday's heavy lifting, the unpaid labor of a caring mind. I gave so much of me to hold in others. I forgot to save a little for behind. Yesterday's heavy lifting, Lord, it weighs a ton in overtime. I'm putting down what wasn't mine to keep. The borrowed burdens I carried in my sleep. Learning that my back was not designed to hold the whole world up all the time. Rest is not abandonment of care. Rest is how I make it back out there. So I'm setting down the weight beside the door. Yesterday's heavy lifting, not today, not anymore. Still strong, just softer. Learning that the bravest thing is knowing when to finally put it down. Heard it from a stranger first, your version carefully rehearsed. The story of us filtered through the narrative that favored you. The villain wore my face, it seems. The innocent were all your seams. You edited the parts that showed the things you did along that road. You handed them a highlight reel of your own pain and left out every chapter with your name in the refrain. You told it wrong, rearranged the timeline, changed the song, made yourself the only one who bled, left out everything you actually said. You told it wrong, perform the victim all alone. To every ear that gave you space, while I was living with the truth you can't erase. You told it wrong, and they believed it, because you told it first and you told it long. I know the version that they heard. My silence made it all absurd. While you were busy building courts, I was healing, minding my own thoughts. You weaponized the sympathy, collected people carefully, an audience for your rewrite of everything that happened in plain sight. The truth doesn't need an audience or applause, it just sits quietly and awaits beside its scars. You told it wrong, rearranged the timeline, changed the song, made yourself the only one who bled, left out everything you actually said. You told it wrong, performed the victim all alone. To every ear that gave you space, while I was living with the truth you can't erase. You told it wrong, and they believed it, because you told it first and you told it long. I'm not here to fight your fiction or compete inside your jurisdiction. The people meant to know will know the truth has roots, it tends to grow. I don't need to tell it louder, don't need witnesses to make me prouder. What happened, happened, I was there, and I'm not carrying your version anywhere. Still true, still standing with the version nobody heard, because I was busy living it while you were busy telling it wrong. Everyone around me found their lane, took the leap and never looked the same. I tied my shoes 100 times or more, still standing at the same old door. Got the plan, I got the dream mapped out, got the vision board without the doubt, but something in my feet won't let me go. Been going off a while ago. It's not that I don't want it, God, I want it more than air. It's the fear of all the falling, waiting out there, frozen at the starting line. Everyone else already running, I'm still trying to do fine. The courage in my chest to starting up again. Frozen at the starting line. Not sure how long I've been overthinking every single step, every move rehearsed but never left. What if I start running and I fall? What if giving everything means nothing at all? So I perfect the preparation stage, keep rewriting the first line on the page, safe inside the almost endless room, watching other people claim the room. The coolest prison is the one without a lock, just fear dressed up is waiting for the perfect clock. Frozen at the starting line. Everyone else already running, I'm still trying to find the courage in my chest to match the dream inside my head. Frozen at the starting line. Not because I'm lazy, not because I'm blind, just paralyzed by everything that could go wrong instead. The race is on without me, I'm lacing up gears and starting line. Not sure how long I've been. What if frozen isn't failure? What if it's the last breath before the dive? What if every second standing still was just gathering enough to come alive? The ones who run don't always win the race. Sometimes the slowest star finds the strongest pace. So maybe I'm not stuck, maybe I'm just coiled, a spring that's been compressed and not yet spoiled. Still lace, still waiting, 1 foot on the line, heart finally saying, this time, go, go. Everyone stops to photograph the sky, the orange gold that bleeds before goodbye. They call it beautiful, they call it art. I call it everything that breaks my heart. The day is done, the light is cashing out. Another sun that swallowed all this doubt. I stand there watching colors burn and blend. These are the sunsets that feel like ends. Not every ending comes with tears and doors. Some come dressed in violet and rose and gorgeous. Sunsets that feel like ends. Not beginnings, not tomorrows, not romance, just the closing of a chapter, warm and slow. The kind of beautiful that only comes right before the letting go. Sunsets that feel like ends. I keep watching like the colors could defend against the dark that follows every glow. Sunsets that feel like ends are the only ones I know. We sat and watched our last one on the hill. You took a photo, I just stayed still. Knew that something in that fading light was saying what we couldn't say that night. The sky turned red the way that feelings do, right before they finally burn through. I memorized the colors, memorized the bend of that particular sunset, feeling like an end. The most painful beauty is the kind that knows its time of burning, so deliberated, almost feels like mine. Sunsets that feel like ends. Not beginnings, not tomorrows, not romance, just the closing of a chapter, warm and slow. The kind of beautiful that only comes right before the letting go. shining instead of out of range. But there's an honesty inside the dying light that the morning hasn't learned to get quite right. Sunrises before and for what's ahead. Sunsets tell the truth before they go to bed. So I keep turning west when day is done, making peace with endings one by one. Still watching, still standing at the edge of every day that burns so bright before it fades and takes the light away. I planted everything I had in ground that looked like good but turned to bad. Watered every seed with what I gave, tended every row like I could save. But something in the earth was wrong beneath, a bitterness too deep for roots to reach. Watch my greens go yellow, watch them fold. The soil had a secret it never told. You can love a land with everything you own, but salt in the soil means nothing's going to grow. The salt in the soil, all my labor, all my love, all my toil, poured into a ground that couldn't give back. The salt in the soil, dressed up fertile, hid the coil. Something underneath that kept me off track. I didn't fail the garden failed the seed. The salt was always in the soil, long before it came to me. I blame my hands, I blame my care. I thought the problem lived in me somewhere. Replenished, started over, tried again. Adjusted sun and water, lost and gained, but barren kept on being barren still. No amount of love can override that ill. Some ground looks rich but runs on empty deep, salted by a history too old to keep. The hardest truth to swallow after all that you have sown is that the earth was never yours to heal, just yours to know. The salt in the soil, all my labor, all my love, all my toil, put into a ground that couldn't give back. The salt in the soil, dressed up fertile, hit the coil. Something underneath that kept me off track. I didn't fail the garden failed the seed. The salt was always in the soil, long before it came to me. I'm learning how to test the ground before I put my whole heart down, to read the land before I sow, to know when earth is safe to grow. Not every field deserves my seed, not every space deserves my need. all the same. Still searching, still planting for ground that's clean and deep enough to hold the weight of everything. I'm still trying to grow. I packed my bags on a Sunday morning, left the key beside the door without warning. Changed my number, changed my route to work, changed everything I could until it hurt. New apartment, new side of the city, new beginning, everything was pretty on the surface where the eye could see. But something from that place came home with me. You can leave the edges, but you can't leave the ache. Some things don't stay behind no matter what road you take. I left, but it stayed. Follow me through every choice I made. Packed itself inside my chest without a sound. Stay, moved into the new life I had laid. The one thing I can never leave behind. I left but it stayed, living rent-free in the corners of my mind. Made new friends, they said I seemed so free. Laughed a little louder, let them see the version of myself post. Everything shiny like a phone in early spring. But late at night when all the noise went down, in the new city made its quiet sound, there it was again beside my bed. Everything I love still in my head. Geography was never gonna be the cure. I made, packed itself inside my chest without a sound. I left, but it stayed, moved into the new life I had laid. The one thing I can never leave behind. I left, but it stayed, living rent-free in the corners of my mind. Maybe living is just the first half of the work. The second half is sitting with the hurt. Not running to a new zip code or name, but standing in the feeling all the same. You have to leave the place before you can begin to leave the weight of what began. So I left the address, that part's done. Now I'm learning how to leave the other one. Still leaving, still carrying the invisible luggage of everything I walked away from, that somehow always finds me first. still buy them every Friday. Same white roses, same old way. Set them where you used to sit. Old devotion, hard to quit. Petals fall by Wednesday night. I replaced them wrong or right. Tending something long since gone. Watering graves and carrying on. Everyone around me says it's time to stop, but grief don't read the calendar and love don't have a clock. Flowers for a dead love, still blooming on the table for someone who left. Flowers for a dead love, the most devoted thing I have left. I know you're gone, I know the soil's cold. I know these petals have no story left to tell, but I keep bringing flowers to a lover I couldn't save. Dressing up the absence like it's something more than a grave. Tulips in the spring you always like. Sunflowers in the summer, yellow bright. Autumn came with burnt orange stems. Winter roses just like back then. Every season I show up and lay something living where you used to stay. The flowers die, I bring them new. The only ritual left of you. Maybe it's not sadness, maybe it's the only prayer I know. A weekly offering to the love I couldn't let go. Flowers for a dead love, still blooming on the table for someone who left. Flowers for a dead love, the most devoted thing I have left. I know you're gone, I know the soil's cold. I know these petals have no story left to tell, but I keep bringing flowers to a lover I couldn't save. Dressing up the absence like it's something more than a grave. There's a kind of love that doesn't end, it just changes what it tends. From a living, breathing thing to a memory worth honoring. So I'll keep bringing stems and blooms to the corner of my empty rooms. Not because you're coming back, but because some loves deserve that. Still fresh, still placed. Flowers for a love that lives now only in the act of bringing them. Your birthday came on a Tuesday this year. I bought the cake, put a glass, shed a tear. Sang the song to an empty chair. Celebrated someone who's no longer there. Blew the candles out for both of us. Made a wish wrapped up in all my trust, that wherever you are, you felt it somehow. The quiet little party I still throw. Nobody throws a party for love that's gone, but some hearts can't stop marking what they're holding on. Still celebrate alone. Balloons in an empty room, candles are still on. Every year the calendar anniversary still lives in me. I mark it quiet like a small ceremony. Morning coffee in your favorite mug, a private toast instead of a public hug. I don't post it, don't perform the grief, just sit inside the gratitude and relief. That's something real enough to mourn once lived between two people who had everything to give. Celebration doesn't only belong to the alive. Some things worth honoring are the loves that helped us survive. I still celebrate you alone. Balloons in an empty room, candles I still own. Every year the calendar comes around, and I honor what we were without a sound. I still celebrate you alone. Not because I'm broken, not because I haven't grown, just because some people change you at the core. And love like that deserves a little more than just forgetting what it was before. Maybe one day celebration heals, becomes a joy instead of what it feels. Maybe honoring the past is how you close it, a yearly ceremony to decompose it. Or maybe I just love the ritual of remembering, the sacred small tradition of considering that you were here and real and worth the day. A celebration keeping ghosts at bay, still celebrating, still alone. A party for a love that earned its own small candle every year, just mine to hold. This one's from the year I trusted blind, gave my everything to the wrong kind. This one's from the fall I didn't see, the one that taught me more about being me. This one's from the friend who walked away, left a mark that wouldn't fade for days. Every line upon my skin and soul was once a wound that made me whole. I used to hide them under sleeves and smiles, now I wear them like the map of all my miles. Every scar a lesson, every break a blessing in disguise. Every scar a lesson, written on the body, etched behind the eyes. I didn't choose the pain that carved me here, but I choose what I do with every year. Every scar a lesson, and I'm still learning, still turning wounds to wisdom, still earning every scar. The one from chasing love that wasn't real, the one from saying yes when no would heal, the one from staying longer than I should, the one from leaving sooner than I could. Each one arrived without an invitation, each one left behind its own education. I graduated from 100 hard goodbyes and wore the honors openly with pride. Pain without a purpose is just suffering alone, but pain that teaches something is how diamonds are grown. Every scar a lesson, every break a blessing in disguise. Every scar a lesson, history of hurt. Don't brush the dust of battles off my shirt. These aren't the marks of someone who is lost. These are the receipts of every bridge I crossed. The warrior doesn't hide the fight they've been. The warrior displays what they've seen. So look at every scar and understand they made the person standing here so grand. Still scarred, still standing, still collecting lessons from a life that never promised it would be easy, but always gave me something to become. I built a version of you in my head, more tender than the words you ever said, more present than you managed to appear, more steady than the person standing here. I love the you that showed up in my dreams, the edited and softened in between, the one who said the things you never said. My mind loved you more than you ever did. I was in a relationship with someone you weren't, loving a projection while the real one burned. Mama, I loved you more than you did. Filled in all your silence with something vivid. Wrote your character with kind of hands. Built a whole person from scattered plans. Mama, I loved you more than you did. Forgave the things you never even hid. I was your biggest fan inside my own head, loving a version of you that only I had. When you were cold, I made you complicated. When you were absent, I made you dedicated. Turned every red flag into something deep, a tortured soul I was assigned to keep. Excuse the distance, justify the pain. Rewrote your exits as you coming back again. The story I was telling was so good. You almost were the person that you should. The loneliest love is the one you build alone, for someone who was never quite what you were shown. Mama, I loved you more than you did. Filled in all your silence with something vivid. Wrote your character with kind of hands. Built a whole person from scattered plans. Mama, I loved you more than you did. Forgave the things you never even hid. I was your biggest fan inside my own head, loving a version of you that only I had. I don't blame the you that actually existed, just the gap between the real and what persisted. In the cinema I built behind my eyes, where you were everything beneath the skies. The saddest breakup isn't losing you, it's losing who I needed you to be. Grieving someone who was never true, just a beautiful lie I told to me. Still unlearning, still releasing the version of you that lives so vividly, only ever inside of me. Of me. mascara left to save my face. Snot and tears all over the place. Standing in the downpour, don't care who sees. Just me and the sky on my knees. Past the pretty grief, past the decorative pain. This is the real kind, raw and unrestrained. No audience, no performance, no refrain. Just ugly crying in the rain. Sometimes the body needs to fall apart completely. No dignity, no filter, just the feeling running freely. Ugly crying in the rain, where the weather matches everything inside my veins. No pretty tears like in the movies, raw. This is the full collapse of a tired soul. Ugly crying in the rain. The sky so loud it drowns the sound of all my pain. Nobody can tell the rain from what I feel. Ugly crying is the realest way to heal. Heaving shoulders, shaking hands, nothing going according to plans. The kind of cry that comes from somewhere deep, the reservoir you've been too strong to keep. Let it all come down like it was overdue. Months of holding it together, breaking through. The rain don't judge the way your face contorts. It just keeps falling, offering its support. There's a liberation in the ugly fall apart. When you stop performing sadness and just give it your whole heart. Ugly crying in the rain, where the weather matches everything inside my veins. No pretty tears like in the movies, raw. This is the full collapse of a tired soul. Ugly crying in the rain. The sky so loud it drowns the sound of all my pain. Nobody can tell the rain from what I feel. Ugly crying is the realest way to heal. Forget the graceful single tear, the cinematic grief that looks sincere. Give me the red eyes and the broken sound, the kind of crying that just takes you down to the ground where all the truth lives, where the body finally forgives itself for carrying it all so long. Ugly crying is its own kind of strong. Still soak, still standing, washed clean by the rain and everything. I finally let myself feel without apology.